The goal of this video is to try to define the goal of the project. Why do I want compost? What's this for? Why am I bothering to go through this process? What I'm trying to do is to make the soil, transform the soil on my property to be healthy. I want healthy soil. Healthy soil has a definition. Healthy soil is full of microorganisms, full of life. And we know now through the science of microbiology that soil microbiology, uh, some of the enormous range of organisms, from bacteria up to uh, the more complex detrivores like earthworms, how the soil works. But we only need to know how the soil works in broad, sort of in broad outlines, because science hasn't been able to fill in the details. This science is something that'll be going on for forever uh, to understand how this system actually works. This is a complex system, but it's so fascinating that what you want to do is recover the soil on your property, cover the soil health of your property, or wherever you can. What happens is this, in broad terms, over the course of billions of years, bacteria have evolved. Over the course of hundreds of millions of years, bacteria and fungi and a whole other host of microorganisms like protozoa, nematodes, and up to earthworms have been working in harmony, and sometimes not in harmony, but have been working together uh, in a symbiotic relationship uh, to create healthy plants, healthy uh, ecologies. But what happens underneath the soil is vital, literally vital to this. Plants for hundreds of millions of years have, through photosynthesis, been able to create sugars and proteins and carbohydrates. They release those sugars into the soil, and those sugars attract certain bacteria. There are so many thousands of bacteria, and they are attracted. Different species are attracted to different sugars and different things that the plants will exude out of their root system. Now you see in this pile that I've created here, there are certain species of bacteria that are very clearly thriving, and that accounts for the heat that is um, emanating from the core of it. That's why I'm turning it to try to cool it down so that other parts of the compost pile can be subject or can be activated by the same bacteria. There are many species of bacteria, and we'll get into that in the next one. But in this case, we're trying to understand what happens. So those plants release sugars. They attract bacteria, and in fact, the plants can release sugars to attract the bacteria that they want to attract. Those bacteria will multiply, again, exponentially. And then those bacteria will be eaten by a whole other range of microorganisms, like the protozoa and the amoebas will come and they'll eat bacteria. They will be eaten by nematodes and springtails and uh, uh, other organisms, sow bugs, etc. And everything that eats poops, and in pooping, they release into the soil just the kinds of things that the plant needs in order to grow. Those things, those nutrients, those elements those minerals are injected into the plant roots by a whole other uh, range of microorganisms called fungi that can penetrate the roots and feed the soil, feed the plants what it was able to take from the soil that the plant had called for in the first place. And then the plant, of course, uses those minerals and those nutrients to grow and to thrive and to produce for us what it is we want. For instance, fruit and vegetables, fruit and uh, flowers to be healthy and to grow. So this is basically the cycle that exists that is extraordinary. That we only know in broad outlines, and scientists are filling in the details. But it's an extraordinary thing. But what it means is that if we don't screw up the soil, which we've been doing for thousands of years, and we've been doing in well, biologically criminal ways for in it throughout industrialization and since World War II, by adding things to the soil that the soil never needed, that if they're in fact killing the actual biology that works, that has worked for hundreds of millions of years. So why would we change that? And in fact, in killing that biology, we're also doing all kinds of other damage to the world. We can talk about. I'm going to talk about that in other videos as I go through this process. But for the moment, the key thing is that I'm trying to inoculate my soil with a wide diversity of microbiology, a wide diversity of microorganisms, I should say, to create a healthy microbiology so that the plants can thrive. Um, and and that cycle can be reintroduced once this cycle is working. Then we just have to keep it going. Our job is to keep from interfering, and to profit in the most generous definition of that term, to profit from what nature gives freely. So that's it for this one. And in the next video, we're going to look more into exactly how these particular microorganisms are functioning to decompose all the organic material that we're feeding them.